New York City, a freezing winter morning. The river below is calm, but deadly cold.
Flight 1549 takes off. The pilots are relaxed.
The passengers are just trying to get home. But just ahead, a flock of geese is migrating south.
They are flying blindly into the flight path.
The pilots never saw them coming.
In a split second, the engines are destroyed.
The silence in the cockpit is terrifying.
Captain Sully looks for a runway, but he is falling too fast.
We're gonna be in the Hudson. He aims for the icy water, a landing that is supposed to be impossible. The world called it a miracle.
But the black box reveals it wasn't a miracle. It was a battle for survival.
This is the story of the miracle on the Hudson. LaGuardia Airport, New York. It is 3 p.m. on a Thursday. The terminal is packed with people tired from a long work week.
For the 150 passengers waiting at Gate 21, this is just a normal commute. They are heading to Charlotte, North Carolina, a short, routine trip.
The plane waiting for them is an Airbus A320.
It is a smart, modern jet, designed to make flying safer and easier than ever before. But a plane is only as good as the crew flying it. And today, the passengers are in very capable hands.
In the captain's seat is Chesley Sullenberger. He is 57 years old, a former fighter pilot with over 19,000 hours of flight time. Sitting next to him is First Officer Jeff Skiles. Interestingly, this is Skiles' very first trip on the A320 after his training. They run through the pre-flight checklist. The systems are green. The weather is clear. At 3:25 p.m., the tower gives them the all clear.
Cactus 1549 cleared for takeoff.
Sully pushes the throttles forward. The plane accelerates down the runway, lifts off the ground, and climbs into the cold winter sky.
The plane is now passing through 2,000 feet.
The wheels are up. The flaps are retracting. Skiles is flying the jet smoothly. Outside the window, the view is spectacular. The Bronx is sprawling below them. The visibility is 10 miles.
It feels like nothing can go wrong.
But directly ahead of them, a formation of Canada geese is migrating south. They are heavy birds, flying blindly into the flight path. The pilots have less than a second to react. Sully sees the dark shapes fill the windshield. He manages to say just one word: birds. The impact is violent. Both engines swallow the geese instantly. The delicate fan blades shatter like glass. Then, a terrifying silence. The roar of the jet is gone. The only sound left is the wind rushing against the metal skin. The smell of burning feathers fills the cabin. Sullenberger knows instantly that Skiles is overwhelmed. He says 3 words: "My aircraft."
Sully takes the controls.
He lowers the nose to keep the plane flying. But gravity is cruel. They are now falling at a rate of 2 floors per second. He keys the radio to call New York. His voice doesn't tremble. It is chillingly calm.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Cactus 1549. We hit birds. We lost thrust in both engines. We're turning back towards LaGuardia.
In the control tower, Patrick Harton, the departure controller, freezes. He stops all other traffic.
He clears runway 13 at LaGuardia. He believes he can bring them home. But inside the cockpit, Sully is looking out the window.
And he sees something the controller cannot see. He sees the buildings of New York towering above him. He is doing mental math: speed versus altitude, distance versus drag. It is a calculation he has practiced in his mind for 30 years. The answer is terrifying. If he turns back to LaGuardia, he will crash into the Bronx. If he tries to reach Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, he risks falling short into the suburbs.
He realizes he has run out of options.
He cannot save the plane. Now he simply has to decide where to crash it.
To his left, he sees a long gray strip of open space.
It isn't a runway. It is the Hudson River.
It is freezing. It is moving.
But it is the only place in the entire city where he won't kill people on the ground. The controller tries to give him directions to Teterboro. Sully cuts him off. He delivers the line that has haunted aviation history since.
We're gonna be in the Hudson.
The plane is now lower than the skyscrapers. Inside the cabin, the silence is broken. The captain's voice comes over the intercom. He doesn't say goodbye. He says just 3 words.
Brace for impact.
Flight attendants begin to shout their commands.
Heads down, stay down.
The passengers bury their faces in their laps. They are preparing to die. Ahead of them looms the George Washington Bridge. Cars are driving across it, completely unaware that a 70-ton jet is gliding just a few hundred feet above their heads. Sully clears the bridge by a margin of seconds. Now, only the water remains. He has to land perfectly flat. If he hits with one wing low, the plane will cartwheel and disintegrate. If the nose digs in, the fuselage will snap in half. The water is rushing up at 150 miles per hour. At this speed, the river surface isn't like water, it is like concrete. Sully pulls the nose up. He flares the aircraft. He waits for the crash. The tail hits first. The nose slams down. Freezing water tears open the cargo doors and rushes into the back of the plane. But the wings hold. The fuselage stays in one piece. Against all odds, the plane is floating. For a second, there is silence. Then, chaos. The back of the plane is already sinking. The freezing Hudson River is rising around the passengers' ankles. The doors are thrown open. The inflatable slides deploy, turning into life rafts. 150 people scramble out onto the wings, shivering in the brutal wind. But New York is watching. Within minutes, NY waterway ferries divert from their paths. Captains and commuters rush to the scene, pulling survivors from the icy water. In just 24 minutes, every single person is safe. 155 souls on board, 155 survivors. The miracle on the Hudson is born. But while the world celebrates a hero, the National Transportation Safety Board begins its investigation. And they are not looking for miracles. They're looking for mistakes. They recover the plane, they download the flight data, and then they run the simulations. The results are shocking. The flight computers claim that Sully was wrong. The data shows that the engines still had some power. The algorithms suggest he could have glided back to LaGuardia. Suddenly, Sully is not a savior. He is a pilot who ditched a $60 million aircraft into a river when he could have landed safely on a runway. The investigation hinges on one question: was the computer right?
The NTSB engineers were puzzled. In their flight simulators, test pilots were able to turn back and land at LaGuardia every single time. The data suggested that Sully had panicked, that he had given up on the plane too early, that the miracle was actually a mistake. But Sully pointed out the fatal flaw. The simulation pilots knew the engines would fail. They reacted instantly. They were flying like machines, not men. In the real world, shock takes time. Confusion takes time. He asked them to add a delay, the time it takes for a human being to accept that they are falling. The investigators agreed. They added a 35-second delay to the simulation, the time required to run the emergency checklist. The results changed instantly. With the human factor added, every single attempt to reach an airport failed. They crashed into the Bronx. They crashed into the bridge. The computer was wrong. Sully was right. The Hudson River wasn't a gamble. It was the only mathematically possible way to survive. We build machines to be perfect, but on January 15, 2009, 155 people didn't live because of a perfect machine. They lived because of a pilot.